Hello, hello, lovely YouTube family. I hope you are not too offended by my rather skimpy outfit today, but it's summer, it's hot, and I don't want to be a total sweaty mess before we've even made it through our warm-up, and it's just skin, we've all got it, so hopefully you don't mind. Today we are going to be doing an intuitive freedom flow, so the word of the day is definitely going to be the word maybe. So I'm going to be really encouraging you to connect to your body, to find the movements that feel good and maybe make things up along the way. Obviously, I do encourage this in every single practice that you do with me, but by doing a flow that really focuses on it, that might give you more confidence to actually do that in other practices. If you're scared by the prospect of me just giving suggestions and you making stuff up, that is totally normal, but you will get used to it and you will grow to love finding what feels best for you. So without further ado, we're going to begin standing today. Standing anywhere on our mat for that matter, does not matter. And bring the feet to whatever distance feels comfortable for you today. That might be together, it might be hip width apart, might be a little bit wider. Start to connect to your breath here in our standing Tadasana mountain pose. And while everything today may be optional, the one thing that I would mostly encourage you to do more than anything is to not lose your connection to the breath and to always be taking deep breaths in and out through the nose and linking your movement with your breath. Notice the places where the breath is travelling in the body. Is it making its way deep down into the belly? Or is it maybe stuck a bit higher up in the chest and the throat? And take a moment to try and make your breath a little bit deeper, sending it deep into the lungs, deep into the belly. In the deeper depths of our lungs, the exchange of oxygen and CO2 is more efficient. So the deeper we're breathing, the more benefits we're bringing to our body and the more efficiently we'll be able to move through our practice. Take a moment to notice how the body is feeling. Are you feeling a bit tired and achy, or are you feeling full of energy and ready to go? And use this information to inform your practice. You might choose to make things even more fiery than I suggest, or you might make things a little bit more chilled than I suggest. And I absolutely encourage you to do either of those things. You might bring the focus to a specific body part in today's class if you feel that part is in particular need of some love and attention. Now, keeping the connection to your breath, begin to find some movement. You might start to sway from side to side, or rock back and forth, or move the weight on the feet around in circles. Maybe you take some circles with the wrists. Maybe you wiggle the fingers. Maybe you start to take some big shoulder rolls going in both directions. Maybe circling with the hips. Maybe making circles with the head and the neck. Now, whatever movement you're doing, Can you start to make the movement just 10% bigger? Now make it even bigger. You can have your eyes closed. You do not need to be looking at me. What you're doing does not need to look anything like what I'm doing. Make your movements even bigger. Feel free to move your feet, to step around on the mat. And you might feel totally silly, but remember, no one is watching you. You're all just watching me. Make the movements as big as they need to be. Take up space. Use your entire body. Let it feel good. Whenever you are ready, I'll invite you to come and join me at the top of the mat. Toes pointing roughly forward, hands down by our sides. Use your next breath in to sweep both arms up overhead, and your next breath out to bend the knees deeply, descend down into a forward fold. Now you might pedal out through the legs here. You might rock the upper body from side to side, letting the head surrender to gravity. Or you might find stillness here. Maybe stay in your fold, or maybe flow through some halfway lifts. Inhaling to lift the chest, exhaling to undulate back down. Take another deep inhale, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. And on your next exhale, plant both hands on the mat, then maybe step it back either to plank or to tabletop position. Option to rock back and forward on the wrists, maybe take some circles, maybe find stillness, maybe pedal out through the legs, tapping one knee at a time down to the mat. Then either go straight back to your downward dog, down to your belly and through a cobra, or take a chaturanga, inhaling to lift the chest, exhaling, descend back down to the mat, or press straight back to your downward facing dog. Find whatever movement feels good, bending and straightening one leg, wiggling the hips from side to side, pressing the chest back towards the thighs. Inhale to prepare, come up onto the toes, bend the knees. Exhale, hop, step, walk your way up to the top of the mat. Maybe inhale, halfway lift, exhale, fold. Bend the knees, deep breath in, sweep the arms all the way up, and deep breath out, back down into your fold. Inhale, halfway lift, exhale, make your way back to downward facing dog, however you fancy. Maybe inhaling to an up dog, and maybe exhaling to a down dog, maybe rolling over the toes as you go. Deep breath in here, and deep breath out. Inhale to prepare, exhale to make your way to the top of the mat. Inhale, rebound halfway lift. Exhale, soften back down. Deep breath in, sweep the arms all the way up. Deep breath out, making your way back down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, find your way to downward dog, taking whatever option you fancy. Maybe you take a deep breath in an up dog or a cobra, and roll your way back to a downward facing dog. One more time through our sun salutations, inhaling to prepare, exhaling, making your way forwards. Inhaling, creating some space. Exhaling, softening into that space. Fill the lungs as you sweep the arms up overhead and empty the lungs as you bring the hands down onto the floor. Inhale, lift. Exhale, make your way back to your downward facing dog. Deep breathing on your way there. Take a moment in your downward facing dog, another deep breath in and a deep breath out. Inhale, round your way forwards, rounding the spine up towards the sky, and then exhale, bend the knees, snake your way back. Inhale, round it forwards, exhale, snake it back. Inhale, round, exhale, snake. Now reverse the pattern. So inhale, snake it forwards, exhale, round it back. Inhale, bend the elbows, pull the hat through. Exhale, round the spine, snake it back. One more time, snaking your way to an up dog, rounding your way back to a downward facing dog. Now make your way forwards using whichever of those options felt good for you, and then use your next exhale to lower all the way down onto the belly. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, lower. Maybe you just take tiny lifts here, or maybe you come all the way up high. Using your inhale to rise, finding the strength in the back body, and your exhale to soften back down. Option to keep on flowing through our cobras here, or to walk the fingertips further out from the sides of the mat. Inhale to lift, exhale, dip one shoulder in. Inhale, lift, exhale, dip the other shoulder in. Maybe keep flowing through this a few more times if that feels good. As you're ready, come back up to centre. Slide the hands under the ribs if they're not already. Tuck them to the toes and either press back via tabletop or up through a plank and back to downward facing dog. Use your next inhale to sweep the right leg up towards the sky. Option to stay here. Option to take big circles with that leg, keeping the leg straight. Or to bend the knee and take circles with the knee with that leg bent. Or you might roll out the ankle, taking big circles. Well, not very big circles with the ankle, little circles with the foot in both directions. Just warming up through the hip, through the glutes, opening up through the hamstrings. On your next inhale, sweep the toes up to the sky. On your next exhale, tap knee to elbow or to nose. Inhale, sweep it high. Exhale, knee, nose, opposite elbow, take your pick. Inhale, sweep it high. Exhale, tap that knee to something, to whatever you fancy. One more time. Inhale, sweep it through. Now this time, exhale, step that foot in between the hands. Spin the back heel down onto the floor. Rise your way up into a warrior two. Sink down into that front knee. And then maybe do some funky things with the arms here. You might bring the hands into fists. Take them in circles in both directions. You might take circles with the arms towards the back of the room. You might sweep the arms up overhead, bring them back down. Everything is optional. Now play around here in your warrior two. Maybe you inhale, straighten the leg, bring the arms up. Exhale, sink back down. Maybe you find the reverse warrior, stretching the right fingertips towards the back of the room. Maybe you find a side angle. Maybe you find a reverse triangle. So just take a few moments here, flowing with your breath, taking any of those options. Inhaling when you expand, exhaling when you contract. So poses like this where we're opening up the lungs, we might inhale, and poses like this where we're folding over, we might exhale. Just find what feels good. 2 more deep breaths here, playing around, moving where your body wants to go. Use your next exhale, sink back down into your warrior 2. Now turn both toes to point out at an angle, heels point in, legs are straight. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, sink it down into your goddess pose. Either stay here or flow. Inhaling, sweep the arms up. Exhaling, maybe you cactus the arms. Maybe you bring the arms straight out to the side. Maybe you have them at heart center or up overhead. I told you the word of the day was going to be maybe. I've probably said it about 100 times already. And option now, sink into your goddess. Maybe take some pulses deep into the hips, finding the strength. Maybe you bring the hands to the knees, dip one shoulder in at a time, opening through the chest and the groin. Maybe you wiggle from side to side. Maybe you take circles with the hips. Option to come down into a side lunge on one leg, travel over to a side lunge on the other leg, work your way back and forth between them, or just hang out in your goddess, finding what feels good there. Now, whatever you're doing, we're all going to make our way into a warrior 2 facing the back of the mat. So bending into our left leg this time, pressing into the outer edge of the right heel. Now inhale, straighten the leg, bump the hips back, reach the left fingertips forward, 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 and then reach them down towards the ground, triangle. Take whatever option you fancy with that right arm, maybe taking circles with the wrist in both directions, maybe taking big circles with the arm, like your arm is the hand on a clock or something. Opening through the chest, maybe take a cactus. Now windmill both hands down onto the mat, step the left foot to meet the right, back into our plank, then make your way back through a downward facing dog, back to a downward facing dog, either through a chaturanga, cobra, or just taking it straight back. Let's work our way back to the front of the mat by inhaling to sweep the left leg high and maybe taking those circles with the leg straight, maybe opening the hip, bending the leg, taking circles with the knee, maybe feeling into the ankle. Deep breath in, extend the left toes high. Deep breath out, tap knee to elbow, to nose, or to opposite elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, tap to something. Inhale, extend. Maybe tap to something else. One more time. Inhale, extend. Exhale, step that foot through between the hands. Spin the back heel down onto the floor. Rise your way into warrior 2. Find some movement with the hands and with the arms. Might be different on this side. It might feel different on this side. Then flowing with your breath, we might come up to a reverse triangle, maybe to a reverse warrior, maybe down to a side angle. Maybe we inhale, straighten the legs, lift the arms, exhale, sink back down. Take a few more breaths, flowing through whatever poses feel good, whichever poses are calling to you right now. Are you still connected to your breath? Now use your next inhale, turn the heels in, both toes out. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, once again, sink down into your goddess and flow maybe between standing, between stillness, making movements with the arms. Option to take a side lunge or to just stay in your goddess. Maybe travel from one side to the other. You might take a Prasarita Padottanasana here, turning the heels out and the toes in, folding down, wiggling the hips from side to side. Whatever option you've chosen, let's all inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, turn the right toes to point forward, left toes at an angle, landing in a warrior two, facing back to the front of the mat, bending into that right knee. Inhale, straighten that front leg, bump the hips back, extend, 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 and then come down for your Trikonasana. Take whatever option you fancy with that left arm. Maybe taking circles with the arm, circles with the wrist. Maybe you find cactus. Then once you feel like you've taken what you need, we'll spin the hands down onto the mat, work our way back to a plank, through a chaturanga, or just straight down to a cobra, or straight back to downward facing dog. Inhale here, exhale. Drop down onto the knees, land in a tabletop position. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest. Exhale, round through the spine. Maybe continue with some cat-cows, the traditional version, or maybe start to take circles with the torso. Imagining like you're in the inside of a big barrel or a big tunnel, and you can touch the bottom with your belly and the back with your back as you round your way around in circles. Maybe you take the movement into the hips, or maybe you just find stillness in your tabletop position. Maybe you rock it back and forward on the wrists, giving them a little bit of love, finding some strength in the wrists as you put the weight on them when you rock forwards. As you're ready, land in a child's pose, either with the knees wide or the knees together, and find the movement here. Maybe wiggling from side to side, maybe lifting the chest, and then rounding the spine. Maybe you take side bends to both sides, walking the hands off to the left, pressing the hips back, and then walking the hands over to the other side. Plant the hands on the mat, make your way back to a downward facing dog, however you fancy, however you wish. Take an inhale here and an exhale. Inhale, sweep the right toes high. Exhale, step that foot straight through in between the hands. Inhale, sweep both arms up, high lunge. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Put all your weight onto that right leg. Launch your way into standing split, reaching the left toes up towards the sky. Fingertips on the mat around the right ankle, or at heart center for a little extra challenge. You might even reach the fingertips up towards the sky. Feel into all of those wobbles. Now drop the left foot next to the right, so the right ankle is crossing in front of the left. Then let the right leg carry on wrapping around the left, either finding the single or the double wrap that are eagle legs. Reach the arms up towards the sky. You might find cow face arms here, stretching through the triceps. You might find eagle arms, finding the single or the double wrap. Lots and lots of options. Everything I say is optional. Unravel those legs, reach the right leg out in front of you, standing staff pose, then maybe take a twist, bringing the left hand to the outside edge of the right foot, right fingertip reaches out behind, or you might grab hold of the right big toe with the right peace fingers and thumb, reach that leg out in front of you. So many options here. As you're ready, release the grip on the foot, windmill your way into a warrior three, taking whatever option you fancy with the arms, and then drop the right toes all the way to the back of the mat, straighten the left leg. Inhale, reach the arms up, exhale, extended pyramid. Right heel stays lifted off the mat, left toes point forwards. You can bring the fingertips to the mat, you can keep them on the hips to find a little bit of strength in the spine. Lots and lots of options here. You might fold down over the leg. Inhale to lift, exhale to fold maybe. On your next breath in, lift the chest if it's not already, plant the hands on the mat, bend into the left knee, step it back to plank, maybe keep that left leg hovering and maybe work your way through a three-legged chaturanga. Totally optional. And then work your way back to a downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep the left toes high, exhale, step that foot straight through in between the hands. Inhale, sweep both arms up. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center, launch your way into a standing split, taking whichever option works with the hands, finding the balance or finding the stability. And then drop the right ankle behind the left ankle in front of right. Let the left leg carry on travelling to wrap around the right, and then rise your way up into eagle. Maybe taking the eagle arms here, maybe taking cow face arms on the opposite side, maybe you cactus, maybe you reach the arms up. As you're ready, unravel the legs, extend the left toes in front, then maybe you take a twist, finding the balance. Maybe you reach the left hand around the left foot, or maybe you just find the strength to keep that leg extended out in front. Whatever option you've chosen, let's all windmill our way into a warrior three, taking whatever option you fancy with the arms, and then dropping left toes to the back of the mat, straighten the right leg. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, extended pyramid. Maybe folding, maybe flat back, maybe pulsating between some lifts and some lowers. Inhale, bend into that knee, rock your way forwards, root down through the hands, then make your way maybe through a three-legged plank, or simply straight back to downward facing dog if that feels good. Once again, drop down onto the knees, stacking shoulders over elbows, over wrists, hips above the knees. Inhale, reach the right arm forwards and the left arm back. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, extend. Exhale, draw everything in. One more time. Inhale, extend. Exhale, draw everything in. Now plant the right hand on the mat. Keep the left knee drawing into the nose. Then cross the left foot over the front of the right knee. Drop yourself down into a Gomukhasana. Lots of arm options here. Like we played around with in our eagle, you can come to the traditional Gomukhasana arms, bringing the left elbow down to the earth, the right elbow up to the sky. You can draw the right elbow down using the left hand, or maybe you take eagle arms here, if that feels good, opening through the upper back. Maybe you come down into a fold over the legs. Bring yourself back upright, stay in your cow face if that feels good, or option to straighten the right leg, point the right toes up to the sky. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, start to fold down over that knee. Reaching the chest forwards, 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 and then descending the chest down. I've got my microphone in a different location today because I'm wearing a different top, so hopefully the sound has been okay. Inhale, lift yourself back up, unravel the legs and make your way into a boat pose, either with the hands behind the backs of the legs, shins parallel to the floor, either fingertips extended, maybe legs extended straight, maybe arms up overhead, and they'll invite you to find some movement in your boat pose. So imagine you're like a piece of seaweed flowing around in the sea, being swayed from side to side by the currents of the ocean, finding the fluidity, moving the ankles, the wrists, the fingers, the toes, coming up high, coming down low, finding movement in every joint in the body. Now, make your way back to downward facing dog, however you want to get there. You might rock yourself back, come up via a chair pose maybe. This is just my option that I'm inviting. Take whatever you fancy. If you're following me, maybe you bring the hands to the mat and find a crow pose, bringing the knees onto the backs of the arms. Now I am super sweaty despite my skimpy outfit, so I might just slide off here, but let's give it a go. If you're joining me in crow, maybe you find the jump back. Inhaling to up dog, exhaling downward facing dog, and then once again drop back down onto the knees. Inhale, extend the right leg and the left arm forwards. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, extend. Exhale, crunch everything in. One more time. Inhale, extend. Exhale, tap it in. Keep that knee hugging in. Bring the left hand to the mat and then cross the right knee in front of the left. Sit yourself back into your Gomukhasana. If you took one of the arm variations that are asymmetrical, then let's make things nice and even by switching it up. This time bringing left elbow up, right elbow down, or bringing the right hand onto the left elbow. Or maybe take the eagle arms on the other side if that's what you did before. And then maybe descend down into a fold if that feels good. Deep breath in, come back upright if you're not already. Then option to straighten the left leg down towards the end of the mat. Right knee stacking on top of the left. We'll inhale to find a bit of length and then exhale to fold down over that leg. Keeping the left foot nice and active to protect the knee, to protect the joints, to protect the muscles in our leg. Slide yourself back up. Once again, uncross those legs and make your way straight into a boat pose. This time I'll give the option of toe taps, either straightening the legs in between or doing it from the shins parallel to the floor version. I could not think what I was trying to say there. Keep up with your toe taps, or maybe you just find stillness, or maybe you pretend you're a piece of seaweed like we did before. Keep whatever you're doing for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then hug those knees. Give yourself a big squeeze. Bring the forehead down towards the knees. Let everything round in. Then either keeping the grip on the knees or letting them go, we'll roll our way down onto our back. Hug the knees into the chest if that feels good. Then find some intuitive movement here, maybe bringing the hands onto the knees and taking them in big circles. Maybe you take a happy baby. Slowing things down, reconnecting to your breath if you lost it, reconnecting to your body, reconnecting to the earth. Now take whatever twist is calling you today. So maybe you keep the knees bent and keep them together. Maybe you extend both legs out straight. Maybe you extend the bottom leg. Maybe you find eagle legs. So many options here in our twist. Take your favourite. And feel free to play around, work your way through a few until you settle on the one that feels the best, or the one that gives you what you're needing today. As you are ready, unravel yourself and make your way into the twist on the other side. Unravel yourself and then make your way into any version of Shavasana. Like it is in every practice with me, it is totally up to you which shape you take for your Shavasana. I feel like I always gravitate towards a Supta Baddha Konasana, but you can take whatever feels best for you today. Get comfy, get out any niggles, settle in for some moments of peace, stillness and silence. Letting the entire body surrender to gravity, softening into the surface beneath you, feeling supported, safe, secure. Take a moment to once again see how the body is feeling and if that has changed since the start of the practice. Reflect on how you are feeling, maybe on how you felt throughout the practice. If any frustration or embarrassment or fear came up. And there's nothing wrong with those emotions, it's just a time to reflect and to notice what happens when you are invited to connect to your intuition. As always, the invitation, the encouragement is there for you to stay in your Shavasana even longer if it is calling to you today. If you are ready to move on, time for our last little bit of intuitive movement on our way out of Shavasana. So imagine like you've just woken up on a morning. How would you move? What would you do? Would you take big movements? Little movements? Get out any last niggles, jiggles, wiggles before making your way up to a comfortable seated position. We will finish our practice with a little mantra. So repeating either out loud with me, in your head, or just listening to me. I listen to my mind, I listen to my body, I listen to my soul. I listen to my mind, I listen to my body, I listen to my soul. I listen to my mind, I listen to my body, I listen to my soul. As always, we'll seal our practice with a deep releasing breath in through the nose. Make some noise as you sigh out through the mouth. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me, and thank you so much for all of the teachers who inspire me, who have passed on their wisdom and meant that I can be here to teach you flows like this today. If you did enjoy this practice, I would be super duper grateful if you could leave a like so that I know that you enjoyed it and that I should make more like it in the future. You can also comment with any requests, suggestions, or just anything you feel like saying. And of course, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that we can practice together again, hopefully very soon. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.